Good morning, everyone. It's Monday, February 25th. This is Lee McMahon. I'm a currency strategist over at globalfxclub.com, and I'm here today to talk to you about the yen pairs. Specifically, we're going to look at dollar yen, euro yen, and CAD yen. We also put out an article on pound yen last night. Those are the most attractive yen setups, in my opinion, for either really bulls or bears. They offer something for either side, especially depending on how price plays out, going forward. So we've had some interesting price action in yen pairs already early this week. We had major weekend gaps up on all yen pairs except for pound yen. On the news that Shinzo Abe is going to be ideally, or at least the plan, is he's going to be nominating Asian Development Bank President Haruhiko Kuroda as the new Bank of Japan governor, and another person named Iwata as the deputy governor, most likely, for the Bank of Japan. Both of these men are firm advocates of monetary easing. They've both been very critical of the lack of intervention by the Bank of Japan, which is somewhat interesting considering the Bank of Japan is a very active central bank. Kuroda has also been quoted as saying that 120 as the dollar-yen exchange rate, so about 3,000 pips above where we are now, would still be too low. Yen would still be too strong. So that explains the sort of strong gap up. And then, as soon as we gapped up, the yen pairs have been retracing those gains since really almost the second that the market opened. And the reason behind that is most likely that we knew this was coming. There was a debate as to who exactly would be picked, but we knew it was going to be someone who was going to push for more stimulus. We know that's what the new prime minister wants in Japan. So this really comes as no surprise. Yes, it was. They picked the most likely, or the most dovish pair, most likely. But this is not any great surprise. It doesn't change the underlying fundamentals of yen pairs whatsoever. I mean, we all knew that this was coming. It just gives us details that we didn't previously have. It doesn't actually change the way that we should look at the yen pairs. So as a result of that, the gaps have begun to fill, and now we're sort of almost back to where we started. And now from here, it'll be up to fundamental and technical drivers to push the yen pairs either higher or lower until the appointment of these new Bank of Japan officials. So we're going to look at those three setups. If you would take a moment to pause the recording and read our risk disclaimer, which should now be on your screen. As soon as that's completed, we'll jump to the charts and take a look at what we got. Okay. So we're going to start with dollar yen. You can see we gapped up to really about 94.60. We're down to 93.80. So almost 100 pips lower in not a very large amount of time, just over 12 hours. We're retesting the support area right now. We still have this unfilled gap, so it makes me a little nervous about this support area. But we are trading at support on dollar yen. If we dip down to fill this gap, the nice thing about this gap fill is it aligns here with the 50-period EMA on the 4-hour chart, as well as this monthly pivot level. So there's a lot of stuff going on here that we should be keeping an eye on. If we manage to dip back briefly below this support level and tag this gap fill, this double pivot support, and the 50-period EMA, which has in the past been moderately significant. You can see here it was supportive, here it was supportive, here it was supportive. We could see another push higher. On the other hand, major support really goes down until 92.30 or so, and it would take a strong move below 92.30 to open up any significant downside. So dollar yen very well supported. First at market. Currently trading at 93.88 here at 5:27 a.m. on the East Coast. Very possible we drive higher from here. If we do fill this gap, look for a stronger move higher. Euro yen, on the other hand, we're trading at 124.38 or so. The gap up took us right to this top of the channel. We've pulled back heavily into moving average support. We've rallied from this moving average support. The gap fill, though, comes in around 123.10, so still 120 pips lower. Major support extends down to 122.11 or so. This is a very neat flag setup here, and by neat I mean it's just clean and precise. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 4 tests on the bottom, 6 tests on top. About as validated a flag as you can get. 4-hour close above here signals increased gains for Euro Yen. And it would take really a 4-hour close below this 200 period EMA at 121.80 to get any further downside. Considering the setup, I would not love to fade moves up to test the top of the trend line. I would like to buy here at this bottom supporting trend line, or buy a breakout on a 4-hour close above this putative flag formation. So nice clean setup here, especially for bulls. Buying a breakout, buying a test of support. Bears need a 4-hour close below this 200 EMA, but then they could actually get something going here as well. If we do get that close, we could push lower really as low as 118, 117.50, depending on how the market sort of reacts to the close below here. There's not a lot of clean support considering this big rally, so we could see a lot of profit taking if we do get that 4-hour close below that 200 EMA. CAD yen, on the other hand, again set up nicely here in this sort of flag-like formation, not as clean. It has almost filled its gap. 91.50 or so is the gap fill. We've traded as low as 91.60, so we missed it by about 10 pips. It no longer looks as dramatic of a gap, however, because of this. You can see very sizable pullback as CAD was especially weak today. We got below the 15-100 EMAs. We remain trading above here. Ideally, if you're looking for setups on CAD yen, buying here near 91, where we have this 200 period EMA, near the bottom of this flag or a wedge, or down here at this double pivot support at 90.40 is a good opportunity. CAD yen, I am less afraid to sell. Because of how weak CAD has been, I'm more willing to take a shot at shorting it here above around 92.50, depending on how we get up there, and I would also look to short it around 92.10 or so, right around this moving average resistance, to see if we could actually push a move from 92.10 down to 91 to test this 200 period EMA and clear out the rest of this gap. So that's what we're looking for on yen pairs. Some very attractive setups. They're still obviously very bullish, overbought but bullish. Euro yen the clearest for bulls. CAD yen is probably is a possibility for bulls and bears. And then dollar yen looks to be at support right now, but still watch that gap fill. So keep an eye on that, and also keep an eye out for that pound yen article that was also posted on Mr. Top Step and our Facebook page. Another nice bearish setup on pound yen. So hopefully that is helpful. If you have any questions, always hop on over to globalfxclub.com. We'll be happy to help you out. Enjoy your trading week, and good luck.